Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about a scientist who won the world's most prestigious award for seeing the invisible. No, really.
I mean, how do you even do that? It's a great question, right? And the answer, believe it or not, takes us back almost 100 years to a time when a simple piece of colored glass was holding a massive scientific secret.
Yep, 1925. This is the year the Nobel Committee for Chemistry gave its top honor to a man who did just that. And that's where our story really gets going.
So, who was this guy? His name was Richard Adolf Zsigmondy, and he got the prize for his completely groundbreaking research into the strange and mysterious world of colloids. Let me just put it this way. He literally made the invisible visible. He figured out a way to actually observe particles that were, by definition, way too small for any microscope at the time to see. Period.
So the big question is, how on earth did he get there? Well, his journey didn't start in some fancy high-tech lab, no. It all started with something much older, an ancient art form.
You know, Zsigmondy was kind of destined for this. He was born in Vienna back in 1865 to a family of innovators. I mean, his dad invented surgical instruments, so of course he had his own lab at home as a kid, which eventually led him to getting a PhD in chemistry. The stage was definitely set.
But it was after he finished school that he found his true obsession. He was completely captivated by the deep, rich colors of ruby and cranberry glass. He just had to know how they got that color. And this wasn't some new question. It was a puzzle that had stumped people for centuries.
He had a hunch. The secret, he thought, wasn't in the glass itself, like some kind of dye. No, it had to be something else, something hidden. He suspected it was because of tiny, invisible particles just floating, suspended inside the glass. A special state of matter we now call a colloid.
Okay, so what is a colloid? This is really the key to the whole story. Think about it. It's not a solution, like salt dissolved in water. And it's not a suspension, like sand in water where it just sinks to the bottom. A colloid is this perfect in-between state, where tiny particles are just hanging out, perfectly dispersed.
And the crazy thing is, colloids are everywhere. Zsigmondy was studying them in these fancy gold solutions and special types of glass, sure. But you run into them every single day. Milk? That's a colloid. Fog? Yep, that's one too.
So he put two and two together. He figured the whole mystery of ruby glass was a colloid problem. That stunning red color wasn't a dye at all. It was coming from teeny tiny microscopic particles of gold, just suspended perfectly inside the glass.
Okay, great theory. But how do you prove it? He had to actually see these gold particles. And here's the wall he hit. No microscope on the planet was powerful enough. So what do you do when the tool you need doesn't exist? Well, if you're Richard Zsigmondy, you just go ahead and invent it.
And you can really see his journey laid out here. He gets his PhD, starts working at a glass factory, which makes perfect sense, and then boom, 1900, that's the magic year. After all that time staring at glass, he and a colleague developed the very thing he needed, the slit-ultramicroscope. This was the game changer.
His approach was just brilliant. See, a normal microscope shines light up through a sample, but for particles smaller than a wavelength of light, that just doesn't work. The light goes right past them. Zsigmondy's idea was to hit the sample with a powerful beam of light from the side in a totally dark room. He wasn't trying to see the particle itself, but the tiny glint of light that bounced off.
Honestly, the best way to get this is to think about dust floating in a sunbeam in a dark room. You can't actually see the individual specks of dust, right? What you see are the little sparkles of light they scatter as they float by. That's it. That was the incredibly simple, absolutely genius idea behind his invention. So, this incredible breakthrough did way more than just solve an old mystery about pretty glass. It blew the doors wide open for a whole new field of science.
He didn't just hand scientists a hammer, he gave them an entire toolkit. First, visualization, the ultramicroscope to actually see these nanoparticles. Second, understanding, the chemistry to explain how they behave. And third, separation. He even developed new kinds of filters to sort them out. The whole shebang.
So when you think about it, his work is the foundation for pretty much all of modern nanotechnology. We're talking about things like targeted cancer treatments that use nanoparticles, or the super advanced materials inside your phone. It all goes back to this. His impact was, well, cosmic. They literally named a crater on the moon after him. That's how big a deal this was.
It's just amazing. By taking a simple, centuries-old question, why is this glass red, and just looking at it from a completely new angle, he totally redefined the boundaries of what science could even see, let alone understand.
And really, that just leaves you wondering, doesn't it? His curiosity unlocked this whole invisible world. It makes you think, what other incredible things are hidden in plain sight, just waiting for someone to figure out a new way to look?